back. WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. Reminder to everyone, the Maryland Crab Cake Tour presented by the Maryland Lottery. Let yourself play. We're going to be playing it this week with the mayor of Baltimore, Brandon Scott. We're going to be in Lauraville at Coco's. Everyone loves Coco's. I haven't had a crab cake from Coco's. I don't think I've had one this century. I know I had one back when Marcella had it like 20 years ago. Well, Leonard Raskin joins us now. He is, of course, our sponsor and our friend from Raskin Global. Well, you laugh at me. And you know what? I had the same conversation when I did the crab cake tour last week at Nacho Mama's, because I've been to Nacho Mama's hundreds of times. Never had the crab cake there. And when Scunny died, I admitted that it kind of weirded me out or whatever. But I eat at my sponsor places, right? So like Fadley's, Costas, the places that have been supporting me forever. I've had a relationship with Michael's up in Timonium. I've eaten a lot of crab cakes, but Al Seafood in Essex, I wind up eating them at the places that I go to. Now, I had a Pappas crab cake about 5 years ago. Jay Pivick from Toyota, one of my dear sponsors, took me to lunch and by Pappas. So I went to your place, right? But only time I get a crab cake is when, like, I don't want to order the cheeseburger or the ribs, or people say, hey, the corner stable has great crab cake. How would I ever know? I get the ribs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's not a place I would jump into for the crab cake. I'm with you 100%.
You know what?
You go to the standbys for the things they stand by for.
I've had 5 people tell me that Joey Choo's has a great crab cake. And I'm like, I haven't even had the Chinese food there yet. You know, so there are these places. You and I were talking about a Shishi Indian place we went to back in the early spring. You dropped a couple $100. I don't go back, but there's a thing about eating out, and that's what the crab cake tour. So you give me a hard time that I haven't had the Coco's crab cake. I'm doing it this week. I can't have every crab cake every day, right?
No, you get, well, they become a peanut butter and jelly sandwich instead of a novelty. You got to be special.
Just on Fridays.
Special. That's right. It's got to be special.
Well, they play football every Sunday, except when they play it on Monday night. And you and I are old enough to remember that, like, Colts at Baltimore, like that ship. So it's gone, right? Like your kid has no affiliation to any of that. We're just old farts at this point talking about that.
Yeah.
But it used to mean
something. He still busts on the blue. He knows enough to know that you got to bust on the blue. When we went out there for that big game with you and
we lost.
Strolled the street into the stadium, and Matt Stover kicked the ball into the guy's head. That was something. But I'll never forget walking along the street there, and there were Colts fans along the street, and my son. He was, I don't know, the year. I don't know exactly when it was.
That was either 9 or 10. It was in that range. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm saying he was probably about 8 or 9 years old. So he was a smart ass. He's screaming at people, can't take the purple. Can't take the purple. And I'm thinking, dude, you're going to get me in a fight. I'm going to have to fight somebody because of your mouth. You got to stop that. But he knew enough to know the blue is bad. We don't like the blue, but he doesn't know enough to have any feelings about it. He just has, the history of my history.
Well, the amazing part of this is I can actually find the piece out online, now and share it with you here. I'll show the video for anybody out watching on our Facebook or on our YouTube page. This was the takeover.
There we go.
Do you recognize this?
Absolutely. I was in that crowd.
Out on the streets. That, believe it or not, that was at Maryland Avenue in the middle of
yes.
It was very easy to find like a place to get it done there. But Leonard Raskin is here, and Colt memories and all. Did you go to Colt games as a kid?
No, I went to a couple, but for me, again, growing up so poor that we couldn't pay attention, getting to go to a Colt game, every game was like the Super Bowl. It was the coolest thing to go to a live game. And as you well know, back in the day when we were kids, there wasn't 4 TV networks and Sunday Ticket covering the games. The only time a game was on is when it was sold out here, and that wasn't often. And so home games were just a radio thing.
What would your kid think of a blackout, a TV blackout? If your dad called back from Ohio State, where he goes to school, and said, Dad, I want to watch Ohio State today, but the game's blacked out. Can you imagine?
Yeah, right. This past weekend, I'm at the beach and he's at school, and we're texting back and forth during the game. It was on, I don't know, Fox, FS1, Big Ten Network. I mean, there's 18 places to watch this game online, stream it somewhere. Yeah, there is no such thing as, you want to hear crazy. This is how crazy it is. We watched, my wife and I, last week, Ohio State versus Indiana women's volleyball
On the Big Ten Network?
on the Big Ten Network.
Yeah, see, Friday night,
Why?
I knew.
Why? Because my son was playing in the pep band in
Oh.
the stands.
Oh.
And we were waiting for that shot from the camera
Hi,
to
Mom.
the band.
Did he say hi,
Well,
Mom,
he
or
was-
hi, Dad? What did he say?
He was busy playing. He was busy
But what would he
playing, so-
say if would he say hi, Mom, or hi, Dad?
That's a great question. I don't know. I think he'd go with the hi, Mom. I think he'd have to go with the hi, Mom, just to make Mom happy. But we did, here I am watching it, and there he was. They showed the band, and there he was playing his tenor sax, and I snapped a picture of the TV screen, and we sent it out to him. We sent it to my mother. Everybody's happy.
Big
There's
Ten
the boy
logo on there,
TV.
the whole thing?
Big Ten logo on the screen. So blackout to him is like during the Maryland game last week when everybody wore black. That's what blackout means to him. He doesn't know
Even
anything
put
else.
him on TV. I mean, for crying
he
out
was-
loud.
Well, the wife was upset that they weren't on TV more, and we have direct TV, so I hit the guide button, the info button, and it says Big Ten women's volleyball. I said to her, honey, it doesn't say Ohio State athletic band. They're showing the volleyball. He's lucky he gets a second of airtime on the screen. So we got him on there. He was on twice. Got some pictures of him in the crowd, and we're actually going to head out there later this fall for Ohio State Purdue football.
So you're going to go to the Horseshoe. You're finally going to get there?
Absolutely. Ohio State Purdue later this fall. We're going to go see him play. He's going to be in the band pregame and postgame. So we'll go see that. And then the next day, I have no idea who they're playing. Women's basketball. He's in the band in the stand for women's basketball. So we're going to go check that out.
I'm trying to watch Maryland play Iowa on Friday night. I was at Nacho Mama's. I was over there having a crab cake. Well, I was looking for the game, and I thought it would be on Big Ten. It turns out it's on Fox Sports Network.
Yeah, that was
finding games. To your point, there's plenty of stations. Well, I want to get to the Ravens with you. Leonard Raskin is here. Raskin Global. We're going to talk some finance, talk some money, give you some tips about refinancing and where the world is, especially with me with my condo still on the market. Unfortunately, it's a beautiful view. Come get it. For you with the Ravens at this point, this has been a really successful, prosperous month in the light of all the injuries, the gloom and doom. The fact that they opened with 3 out of 4 on the road, the fact that they lost the first one out in Vegas, it was just disappointing. The fact that the Chiefs were on the schedule, the fact that they're 3-1 right now, and that they've made it through all of this, and the non-vaccination of their quarterback, like all of that, right? They get an extra day of rest this week. The Colts aren't what we thought they might have been. These road trips coming up to Chicago and Miami are way off like Thanksgiving. I mean, I'm worried about stuffing and turkey at that point. It feels like this is a really prosperous year, and it feels like they're going to play football in January.
Yeah, they get a nice run of home games coming up. Let's face it. As you said, with the 4 that were on the schedule, 3 on the road, 3-1 would have sounded great. And I don't know which one you would have picked that they would have lost, but I think you would have picked the home game, Kansas City. The 3 on the road, you figured they'd have beat the Raiders, they'd have beat the Lions. And then Sunday's game, you figure they're 3 out of 4 there. But wow, they've shown up. They've really shown up. And next man up is the motto. And my goodness, and let's face it, Lamar throws pretty good for a running back.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, how about the word barbaric? Was that a great word, barbaric?
That was a great word. That was a great line. He's throwing the ball all over the field. And what's really strange? I'm watching the game on Sunday, and I've seen this before from him. He throws that deep ball. It doesn't look like he's efforting to do much. He kind of slings it out there. And watching the game on Sunday, I don't recall which commentator, but somebody said, or it might have been ESPN or something, it looks like he's throwing a Nerf ball. The thing just kind of zings out there, just kind of hums. he throws from all angles and that ball's going all over the place. And let's face it, short of a couple throws that got tipped, he's throwing that ball right on the spot. And the dude has come into his own even more than he was before. I think he's playing better than his MVP year. And then I got to tell you, I'm a risk guy. Now, I'm not a risk guy for risk's sake. You take prudent, intelligent risk. And you don't do stupid things for the sake of stupid. It's bad. You lose a lot of money in my world. But I love getting 5 yards on the last play of the game. I was unhappy that they were not going to rush for 100 yards in that game and blow that Pittsburgh record. And then lo and behold, an interception in the end zone. And Harbs comes out with Lamar running the ball for 5 with 3 seconds left.
I didn't think that was smart. I didn't think that was smart judgment.
Amazing. I thought it was amazing. I don't know.
What's so hardballing, right? I mean, it's a hardball family trait.
So in your face to just say, we're getting our 100 yards no matter what. Now, they could have gotten it a lot earlier had they run the ball some more, which they got away from again, of course. But
well, if you didn't like Lamar Jackson running the ball into the middle of the hole in the middle of the game, what the hell are you doing running him with the football at the end? Like, that didn't make any sense to me. Especially,
it didn't make any
sense. Leonard, they had 3 guys get hurt walking on grass in their facility 4 weeks ago, right? Like, literally.
I get it. But the reason it worked was because nobody thought he would do it.
Yeah, it's including the defense, which was...
That's what I mean. If the Denver defense had thought they were going to go for the 3 or 4 yards, he would have not gotten it. They were thinking, take a knee. He snaps the ball. He goes off to the left. I was so happy about that. I thought it was just phenomenal.
I'm just happy we're in football season. Leonard Raskin is here from Raskin Global. He helps people with their money and some advice. So I need to ask you this because kids are back at school. We had restaurant week a couple of weeks ago. We're sort of settling in here. We got home games for the next month, even if they're on Monday night. People that are going down to the games or making their weekend plans. My birthday month, right? So Rocktober, all of that. When's your birthday?
12th.
I'm 14th. All right, Duke of Columbus Day. All right. So I'm 14th. So I was the big thing for me. It was right around Sammy Hagar's the day before and Jim Palmer's the day after, and I'm the day of Harry Anderson amongst other people, Stacy Keebler. But for where we are and people getting settled now and wearing masks or not or vaccinated or not, wherever they are in this thing. Home building, home buying, the price of goods, inflation, all of that. My house is for sale. People keep asking me the same question. I find it really strange. Where are you moving? I don't know. I've been trying to sell whenever my place sells, I'll let you know where I'm moving. But you're still kind of bullish on refinancing and like cheap money, something you haven't had a whole lot of in the 39 and a half years of your life, right?
Yeah, cheap money is a good thing. And what people don't understand is the value of having possession of your money to do things that you could do. So, the American dream.
That's liquidity, right? That's the right word?
Yeah, liquidity. Everybody talks about the American dream. Pay off your home, own this thing, pay off the mortgage, get rid of the mortgage. They used to have burn the mortgage parties. When you'd pay it off, you'd burn the document, you'd be done. You'd own your house. And that was the American dream, to own your home. The problem with that dream is that dream was manifested when interest rates for a mortgage were 15, 16%. Interest rates for a mortgage
Daddy
today,
was the loan.
interest on mortgages today are 2.5%, 3%. 30 years fixed under 3%. We're having clients refinance. We're having clients purchase homes.
That number alone should stimulate the economy, right? Right. Just in a general sense. Yeah,
it does. The builders are building as fast as they can build. Anywhere you go, you're seeing houses and condos and apartments being built. And the opportunity to take a 30-year mortgage at 3% or less is akin to stealing money. It really is. You're basically borrowing at the cheapest rates in our country's history. You're locking in that cost for 30 years. So take the bank's money, lock it in for 30 years, and take the money that you would have otherwise paid on that mortgage and protect your family. Buy life insurance, protect your family, make sure you have the right disability insurance, invest for your future, put that money to work in the market, which is the way to get ahead of the inflation that is invariably coming. It doesn't matter if the interest on the mortgage is deductible.
Why do you say invariably
or not.
coming? Is that what happens when the pipelines get stuck here in the economy?
It's when so inflation is when there's too much money chasing too few goods, and the government is pumping out money like it's water. So with this stimulus plan, and who knows if it's going to pass, we're talking another $5+ trillion of government money coming into the economy, and ships offshore that can't get unloaded because there's not enough dock workers to do it. There was a recent study done, and it asked people why they're not going back to work. Some people said COVID, they're afraid. Some people said they're making equal or more on unemployment than they are in their job, so why work? Other people said they don't want to get the vaccination and their employment would require them to do it. We're talking about over 50% of the people out there not working answered those 4 things. So COVID, vaccination, unemployment, making equal or more money. I'm not going back to work. So when those people are generating enough revenue outside of work to go to work, and we got ships offshore and we got people at companies just can't get the supply chain running the way it needs to be running because there's not enough people to trim the lumber and create the plywood and build homes. And so prices of everything go up, and that's inflation. Inflation is the value of your dollar decreasing. And so if you can borrow at 3% for 30 years, you have to look at that mortgage payment today. Let's say it's $800 or $1,200 or $2,000 a month, whatever it is. That same dollar down the road, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, just think back to when you bought your first car. What was the cost of the car payment? And if you could buy a car for that today, you'd be singing. The fact is, it's not much more. Cars haven't gone up that much. It's just that the dollar price is more. But on an inflationary basis, a car costs what a car costs. Maybe a little bit more, but not a ton. So you're looking at $1,000 car payment when you used to look at 200. So it's more dollars, but over time it's the same. Now, the fact is, if you get a mortgage payment, 800, 1,000, whatever it is today, 10, 20 years from now, it's going to feel like a lot less because your income's going to rise and your mortgage is going to stay the same.
If I stayed in my first 30-year mortgage, it was $404 a month, right? I got it in 1986, right?
Now the rate,
but now the rate was 8.75, right? Like 8.75.
Right. So the idea is, if you still had that house and you had refinanced over time as the balance decreased, you refinance the outstanding balance on a new term at a lower rate. Your payment today would be a couple $100 a month for that same loan.
He is Leonard Raskin. Always with great advice. Raskin Global is the way to do that. I've actually, if you're watching out on the web, I'll pull it up, let everybody know how you can find it, who they are, what they do, why them. Well, because they're with us at WNST, but obviously I can give you some great advice as well. Entire resource center with calculators, estate, investment, insurance, lifestyle, money, retirement, tax resources. And if that's not good enough, just give them a call or drop them a line over at Raskin Global. I can get you to them on the front of our Baltimore Positive site. Are you working on some seminar? I mean, this in-person, out-of-person, vaccination, indoor, outdoor, everybody's sort of struggling with it a little bit, but the information's always there for you guys.
Absolutely. And we're getting ready to put out a podcast and a webinar's coming up. We don't have a date nailed down, but we've been watching this bill, as I said, $5 trillion going through the pipeline, watching the sausage be made in Congress. They're going to come up with something. We don't know exactly what, but there is going to be significant change in 2 things. Number one, the tax law is going to have some massive overhaul one way or the other. They're going to get things through. There are going to be changes. You got to pay attention. There's some things you might need to do before year end. We're going to be talking about what's pending. We're going to be talking about, as soon as it gets approved, what you have to jump on, what you have to take advantage of, what you don't want to get hurt by. And I mean, if this bill passes as sits, it is the largest social welfare tax change since the Great Society, going back 80 years. I mean, this is a massive social spending bill if they get what they want on the Democrat side of the aisle. And they're looking to provide almost cradle to grave care for everyone. Bill Clinton, when he was president, Bill Clinton could not win the Democrat nomination today. He's way too conservative. When Bill Clinton was president, he and Al Gore stated that the era of big government was over and welfare as we know it is gone. And today, Biden, Harris are trying to bring welfare as we knew it back to America. They want to send free money to lots of people. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, this is a human condition. We want to stimulate people to work, to have pride, to go out and create. And this bill does exactly the opposite for too many people. The greatest social welfare program is a great job that gives you pride and satisfaction and purpose and grows your wealth other than just sustenance, which is what the government is interested in providing in this bill. And it's tragic, but that's where they're headed. And something's going to pass, and we're going to be doing webinars about what passes so you know what to take advantage of and what you need to move and act on quickly before year end and what can wait. And this will be a very interesting last quarter, depending upon how and when this thing passes.
Yeah, we spent a large portion of last week talking to some local people about it. We'll be talking about that, obviously, on Baltimore Positive. You can find all that. You can find Leonard out on the front of Baltimore Positive as well. We're still covering the Ravens with the best of them as the Colts come to town this week. Luke Jones is in Owings Mills. All of our coverage there brought to you by our friends at Royal Farms. Real fresh, real fast. Reminder, the Maryland Crab Cake Tour presented by the Maryland Lottery is this Friday with Brandon Scott, our mayor at Coco's in Lauraville. That starts around 2 o'clock on Friday. We were at Nacho Mama's last week. We were at Greenmount Station up in Hempstead 2 weeks ago. All of that now at Baltimore Positive. Always appreciate the insights on football, Ohio State, mortgages, and doing a little something with your money that allows you to save it and go see a Rolling Stones show somewhere down the line. Leonard.
There you go.
Leonard Raskin at Raskin Global joining us here. We'll be monitoring all the things he was talking about all week long, along with Don Moeller. That happens a little later on in the week. I think Ted Venetoulis is coming on later in the week. Luke Broadwater from the New York Times is going to be joining us later in the week as well. And what else do I have set up? Oh, John Carden joined us last week too. Delegate John Carden talking about some things going on down in Annapolis. I am Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. And we never stop talking. Baltimore Positive.